we have a game today between the Bowling Green State University Falcons and Macaulay Honors College.
Macaulay Honors College, a significantly longer name than what they officially are listed. Don't have time to say the entire name that they are listed as, but they are the Marauders.
That's right. They'll be attacking right to left. They are in the black, and Bowling Green in the orange and white.
And Matt, I think the wind is picking up. The Bludgers keep blowing off of the brooms up line, which, by the way, if you time that right, you don't have to run as far, which is the most important part of Quidditch.
Very true.
Not getting tired.
I just saw that in the last game. Right at the last second, the ball blew to the other team, like a good 5 feet, and the guy got it immediately. Just good luck.
Good luck, and Matt, this is another thing. You can contest what side that you end up playing on, and when it comes down to it, you can contest it to like a coin flip or something like that. So I was thinking, if you realize like which direction the wind's blowing, you're like, we'll contest it. Like the glare from the sun's not affecting us, the wind is. So we're just like, we'll play for the side that has the ball blowing its way, right? Brooms up here. And
we got a stoppage. I believe that is a false start, and that'll be a, if that is indeed the case, that'll be a reset. Yep, and looks like the referee is signaling back to their starting line. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, exactly. You don't usually see a full reset. You see the quaffle turnover to the team that is not the recipient of the false start sometimes. But Bowling Green coming into this game. 7 straight U.S. Quidditch Cups for them. 7 consecutive. Pretty impressive.
It is incredibly impressive. They've been a very storied program, consistently been a powerhouse in the Great Lakes. This year is the first year that they've definitely struggled. They've graduated a lot of players. A lot of players have moved on to a local community team. So this year has been a little bit different. They've got a lot of new players looking to prove their worth here.
Yeah, all I hear is opportunity to go out there and ball. That's what I just heard.
Absolutely. And they're off. Quick beat, and Bowling Green has the ball. They pass off. It's Chanavec. He's driving in, and a goal.
Great contact and great spatial awareness while in the air to know where the hoop is and finishing strong on that. We got a 10-0 early lead for Bowling Green State University and a quick sub for Macaulay. That was interesting. They're going to reset on the sub outline here. Oh, it's because there was a little confusion there. Vargas didn't know that he had to have possession of the quaffle to be able to sub out for the keeper zone situation to give the ball back to an opposing chaser for him to be able to come out. So
it looks like Macaulay's going to try and walk up the quaffle, and they do so. He's coming in from the side, and he gets the loop around for the goal on the small hoop.
And that was interesting, Matt. That looked like it was a beat from our perspective, but great block up front by the Macaulay Marauders on that one to come up with a goal. It's 10-10, and Bowling Green trying to push the action here. No keeper zone. They'll have to reset.
Yeah. And that's a senior for Bowling Green, number 62, A.J. Miller. He's been with this team for a very long time, and he's really been a good leader for this team, certainly, especially with a lot of younger players.
And plays a strange set of positions. He plays keeper and beater, believe it or not. And I have a strange feeling he's one of those do-it-all players for Bowling Green just because of the situation this season where you talked about the recruitment of Ohio Glory.
Big reset back up to Miller. He's looking for the shot, knocked down by Macaulay, and the keeper's got it.
Vargas keeping his balance there after he slipped his plant foot coming up out of the dirt there. A little difficult for him to maintain possession, but he did it successfully. He subs out there. Ron going to come in at the keeper position now, and Macaulay clearly taking their time so that their beaters don't have to make crazy throws across pitch or anything.
Absolutely. Bowling Green sitting with control. They're playing a front back set. Bowling Green with the beat. They've cleared one beater. She's coming back in. She's got the quaffle. Bowling Green picks it up. They're in transition. He's running it in. Good tackle by keeper Farron.
Coming off the perimeter over here. All the Bludgers are down, by the way. So
47 driving in, finding the open man in the backside. It's a goal.
Nice move on that one. 88 teams in attendance here at US Quidditch Cup 11. Bowling Green right around the middle area there. They are ranked 49th coming into this one on the USQ standings. Averaging 114 points per game. Pretty impressive for a college team that you said, Matt, is struggling a little bit. A little different. A lot of younger guys, which means, hey, if you're younger, you're spry, you run running, you're quick out there, and you like to score a lot.
It's definitely not a team lacking any athleticism, that's for certain. Macaulay
Nice
driving it around the outside, floater pass, Miller picks it up. And he's coming down the field. Look at those strides. And he's slowing up now, realizes he's running right into Bludger control.
Yeah, sometimes you talk about the inexperience of certain players. Usually when beaters, and you talk about on community teams and other teams, more experienced college teams, they see the keeper making that run out front. They start to press as well, beater-wise, getting up the field and trying to make those beats up front. But A.J. Miller making the smart decision with his young team and taking advantage of the situation. A nice drive attempt that was blocked up front. Excellent hustle by Macaulay.
Yeah, great defense there. Bowling Green really cleared out those beaters pretty easily, but couldn't finish, unfortunately.
And if I am correct, this is the last year for A.J. Miller. 4 years in for Bowling Green State University. This is his last year, last go-around for the big guy.
It is. Bowling Green used to have a junior varsity team, a B team called the Falcon Warriors that AJ was a captain of for a very long time. And now that team is defunct, he gets to play for the full team, and he's been captaining them just as he captained Falcon Warriors.
Bowling Green State University participated in the Dobie 5th Annual Dobie Memorial Tournament. Did pretty well there with some pretty competitive teams, and a nice shot from Macaulay. They're going to call that one no good. That's strange. It looked like it hit off the bottom of the hoop there, and good contact after that quaffle was loose, and now a scrum for the ball behind the hoops. A.J. Miller coming up with that one, and Matt, talk about this. When you see a lot of college teams and community teams too, when they depend upon the success of one player to go out there and be a big part of why they win games, game in and game out. That pressure that they feel, how do you avoid letting that get to you when you're on the pitch?
I think you've got to understand that every player plays a contributing role, and if you don't develop the rest of your players, what do you have? As they always say, there's no I in team. That works both ways. You can't have a player hog it all, but you can't also rely solely on that player. I think Bowling Green has done a very good job, especially in the second semester after losing who could be that star player, Max Portillo, who played a lot of minutes of beater for them over the years and in the earlier semester. They've evened out their skill, and they're allowing other players to step up.
And strange beater tactic up front, not only pressuring Macaulay's beater, but allowing the Quaffle player to run right past him, hoping that the gang tackle at the hoops over there would be able to affect him, but Macaulay's able to take that one and finish off the right side of the hoop. Let's see if they're going to call that one good. We do have a stoppage of play here between the Macaulay Marauders and Bowling Green State University Falcons. Long trip they took to get here, Ohio to Round Rock, Texas. Weather hasn't changed, though.
Actually, this is much warmer than it's been in Ohio, speaking from experience.
Matt Dwyer, you got here Wednesday, right?
I got here Thursday.
Thursday, and you mentioned Monday and Tuesday in Cleveland, Ohio. It was snowing.
It was snowing.
No big deal. Haven't seen snow in Texas. Well, actually, believe it or not, in Texas, most amount of snow we've seen as a Houstonian myself, playing for the Houston Cosmos, I've seen snow twice this year.
Oh boy, that's
very strange. And it was about an inch of snow, but it was very, very troubling for the entire city of Houston. Shut the whole place down.
Oh man, if only we had an inch of snow. Big hit on Miller. He didn't have the support around him though, and Bowling Green recoups. That's Kyle Dawson, number 69, taking point at Bowling Green's beaters, trying to get that Bludger back. He loses the beater battle. Miller somehow dodges a beat. Never mind, it is indeed. And
hit him on that pectoral muscle on the chest area, and he took a delayed there. He thought he may have had a clean block, but he didn't. Bowling Green's going to trek back on this one, and Macaulay's going to take this opportunity to get some subs into the game. And they're going to get out there, and they're going to be quick all the way around the perimeter there. They got a male fast chaser. You don't see that too often. When you're talking about college Quidditch, usually they'll set up a screen and send a female chaser back there to make that quick catch and throw behind the hoops. See if Macaulay can take advantage of this.
And he gets a strip. Lucky grab to get it back to his own chaser, and they've got a goal on the small hoop.
And when he goes back to watch film tonight, he'll say that's exactly what I meant to do. I meant to make that pass right in front of the hoops. It looked like he got the ball squeezed out, but nonetheless went right to his teammate. And like you said earlier, you talk about the wind blowing the ball certain directions. A little luck never hurts.
Absolutely.
A little luck never hurts.
Absolutely. It looked like Macaulay was playing a four corners offensive set there, trying to spread out that Bowling Green defense as they walked up the ball with both Bludgers. Oh, and Macaulay misses the beat. That's Bowling Green's Bludger. And a strip. And that's number 52 for Macaulay, streaking down the field. Long shot, he misses the goal.
It's smart move to not just get beat with the ball in your hand and give the ball right back to Bowling Green. Make them go back, and on top of that, give your defense a chance to get back in position and get ready for the oncoming offensive set. Instead of taking that beat about 5 feet outside the keeper zone, let somebody scoop it up, and then catching your defense when they're trying to track back to help you out on offense and get them out of position.
Absolutely.
And Bowling Green this year got a couple of wins versus other teams here at Nationals, as they got a hustle up front. Another strip from number 52 for Macaulay.
And he's moving some quick feet. He's dodging, he's ducking, and he gets stripped again. And that's keeper ball number 37. Great defense there by Bowling Green, but man, they almost had that. That keeper's driving through. This big boy's knocking up.
Great hustle from Macaulay on these.
Making me
not
eat
even
my
the game
words.
tackles. There you go. And still Bowling Green hustling through, keeping the play alive and finishing at the hoops. You gotta like it.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's where that athleticism comes in. You're getting those second and third looks.
And like you said, back-to-back turnovers for Bowling Green State University. Good to see them get on the board on that third time down on that third trip down here. As
Macaulay beaters blowing up the play. It looks like all three Bludgers are on the ground. Macaulay's got a lot of space. Bowling Green beaters completely unawares, and Macaulay still can't finish.
And possession is had by Jack Herrick, the leading scorer for Bowling Green State University, number 11 out there.
Yeah, Herrick's been a huge piece of this offense all season. He's a big athletic dude, driving in, stuffed at the hoops, loses the ball, and that's a great strip by the Macaulay keeper.
Another strip by Macaulay. That's great coaching there. You can tell that that's something that they practice all the time, because they know the initial contact. One, you got to have faith in your teammate to be able to make that initial contact. The second time around, locating and going for the ball, knowing that that is the biggest threat, not the person themselves. The ball is what scores the goals. I know it sounds like common sense, but a lot of people get caught up in trying to hit somebody really hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Macaulay dancing around up top. He's having some trouble moving around. Bowling Green number 1 really sticking on him. Oh, missed him.
Shot off the right hoop. That looks like it was deflected. Now it's going to be recovered. That's That's Vargas out there for Macaulay. He's going to get the pass behind the hoops, get it over to one of his chasers up top. Back to Vargas. Thought he was beat there for a second. He's going to get wrapped up. Great tackle up front.
And a good finish by Macaulay. That was a good athletic play. Very heads up.
I like the contact that I was seeing at the hoops. A lot of people being driven backwards. That means those tackles coming in square and people running their feet to make sure that nobody gets any free opportunities. That's the most important part. Sometimes all it really comes down to is making them earn every single goal that they get. And some teams prescribe to that mentality, others don't.
Bowling Green waiting for the beaters to make some moves. Big, huge pass down the middle. Ooh, slide from Vargas there.
Yeah, a little dangerous. That was side by side.
Absolutely. He looked like he winced as he was getting up. Vargas gets wrapped up, pass across the field.
And Vargas is down, actually.
He's getting back up.
Yep.
A little frustrated there. And that's number 27, Arnold, dancing on the far side of the field. He's waiting for his offense to set back up.
Frustrated, but kept the play alive by making that pass on the right-hand side instead of going down with the ball and getting beaten.
That was very good.
Wow,
big hit
tackle
by A.J. Miller, blowing up the Macaulay beaters there, although they still maintain control. Beating from Macaulay, number 0, Christian Barnes, and number 13, Calypso Montoya. Bowling Green getting the strip, but Macaulay picks it back up.
A dive at the knee of a certain player there. It looked like maybe even the two legs got tangled up. They both went down. They're probably going to say that was side by side. That shot out the mid-hoop is no good. Now they got one up top, and Bowling Green's actually going to take possession up front. And a beater exchange up there, and it's going to be back to the keeper, number 31 for Bowling Green State University. It's going to reset the offense and see what they can make happen out here. And so far this season, prior to this tournament, Bowling Green State University has 7 wins versus teams that are here at Nationals. So some high-quality wins throughout the course of this season. 13 of their 7 wins come from teams that earn Nationals bids.
Big pass over the top, blocked by the keeper. And Macaulay recovers. It looks like we've got an advantage call, and there will be a stoppage of play.
one of the best results that Bowling Green State University had this season at the Ball Brothers tournament. They got to the Final Four and were eliminated by Lake Erie. I'm sorry, Lake Erie Elite in the Final Four of that tournament. So good showing from them at that tournament. One of the bigger ones, Ball Bros 4.0, as it is known.
There were 18 teams at that tournament. There was a lot of top talent, including Ball State, Lake Erie Elite. Mizzou came all the way out to Muncie, Indiana to play in that one.
And as a matter of fact, 130-110 overtime loss for Mizzou versus Lake Erie Elite in one of their tournament wins this season, I believe.
That is correct.
Last couple of years have been really nice to Bowling Green. They got into the Elite Eight, and last year lost to Texas, a team that was in the running for the national championship all the way to the bitter end. 100-60 in that final score. There's going to be a card for net contact. And Macaulay looks like they're going to maintain possession here.
And that's a card on number 62, A.J. Miller. It's hard to be a big man in the beater game, certainly. There's a lot of hits you need to make on smaller players who are able to crouch and take the hit and maybe draw the foul.
Yeah, especially some refs, their concept of turning into the tackle is very different than others, and sometimes that just doesn't work in your favor. Looks like a beat up top. Yeah, that might have been, that's going to be a turnover. Looks like Farron made a pass after he jammed the bludger off of his leg. The bludger hit him on the leg. The quaffle held it up for a second, and then he threw it and passed it. So he was beat way before he made that pass. So it might be a quaffle turnover over to Bowling Green State University.
That's a really unfortunate turnover. Macaulay was looking to push the pace there, take advantage of the power play while the Bowling Green beater, A.J. Miller, was out of play. A turnover here is just going to allow Bowling Green to walk slow, kill the penalty.
And on top of that, Macaulay, you don't see this too often from a college team, operating a ton of their offense behind the hoops, strangely enough, utilizing not just one chaser but two chasers behind the hoops, making sure that you have to defend every blade of grass, as they like to say in sports, all the way around the hoops. And it looks like because the keeper has not touched the ball, the beaters are up top trying to force a turnover and see if they can come up with a good clearance on top of Bowling Green State's beaters up front. Not only getting one other beater, a nice turn by Herrick. He's almost being pulled down there, but Herrick looks like he's a stout kid.
Keeper didn't know beater was behind. Luckily, Bowling Green was keeping it close, trying to kill that penalty.
This is an opportunity to run on offense, but Macaulay's already recovered. Great athletic play, jumping for that quaffle, getting a hand on it, but a dive.
Herrick boxes him out. He gets beat.
Herrick.
Macaulay, a little bit of a fumble trying to pass it across, still not able to get it through. And that was an odd offensive set by Macaulay, certainly. It's like they didn't want to fully commit to the pressure there.
And sometimes, and Matt, you've seen tons of quit it. Sometimes when you overcommit to getting that run out in transition, you get burned off of just one throw from a beater that gets the quaffle down on the ground. And then before you know it, somebody's taking your opportunity to score and turn it into a score of their own.
Absolutely, and getting scored on while in a power play.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit embarrassing.
A little bit. Down one chaser, too.
Big hit by Macaulay there. Number one, Bowling Green able to hang on, gets a little tripped up, passes off. It's Herrick. He's driving around. 27 Arnold's got him in a wrap. Herrick scores.
First score in about 3 minutes in this match. Good. By the way, you're seeing a lot of high chaser pressure from Macaulay. They seem to have some faith that they can win those one-on-one matchups even when the beater is not in the question out there, which is something you don't see too often from point chasers up front. But Macaulay, a lot of confidence in those guys. Like you mentioned, a lot of athletic skill, and they're showing it. It's on display here.
Farron up top with the ball, turning it over number 8, Fernandez, running around the left side. He's looking for the opening, passes off. The wind takes that one. And, well, they're still able to recover it. Bowling Green keeping tight to the hoops. Another big pass over the top. Bowling Green able to recover. Goes through a few legs. Macaulay gets it. He's beat. A.J. Miller doing some work over here, beating every single Macaulay chaser. And it's 180. He's driving in. We've got an advantage call. Blocked.
A.J. Miller had that look on his face like that guy was beat. He had that look on his face like he hit him on his calf. as he was trying to run for that ball that was loose on the field. And as I say that, Arnold, number 27, coming onto the pitch, back in grad school, formerly of the Philadelphia Honey Badgers. Alvin Arnold, a very a good sign of experience and knowledge when it comes to Quidditch. He was the team captain for the Honey Badgers back in 2013. And he's returned to Macaulay for an opportunity to coach a very young team that has a lot of talent and try and get some wins with them. I like it. Also, of course, trying to expand his mind as well. Not only his Quidditch game, but his mind. As Miller is, manhandling up front on this ball. Great stout possession of the ball, making sure he stays calm, and then making sure that he also keeps an eye on his chaser up front. Miller and Herrick combining well out there on offense. As, man, this Macaulay chaser pressure, you gotta like it if you're a fan of physical play when it comes to Quidditch.
Absolutely. Beats all over the field. Herrick realizing that he's got a bludgerless situation. He's driving in. Jukes, and a good goal through the top hoop. That was a good awareness by Herrick after a bunch of confusion in the center of the field. Beaters didn't really know what they were doing there. Luckily, he kept his head, recognized the opportunity. He's really been playing well off of A.J. Miller coming forward and being an enforcer towards Macaulay's smaller beaters.
An interesting turn. Well, look at what the Macaulay Marauders did a year ago when they were here at U.S. Quidditch Cup 10. They ended their season 0-5. Coming into this tournament, they are 4-1. Very different mentality when you come out here on a win, when you come into this matchup on a win streak, and that's a good goal out there. That looks like it was fair and came up with that.
That was some great hustle there by Macaulay. Yeah, when you go 0-5 at a national tournament, while you're happy to be there and get the experience at nationals, it definitely turns something on in your mind to make the change in your program, to practice harder, to work harder in order to come back the next year because you want to do it bigger and better, certainly. No one wants to go 0-5 at the national tournament.
And 1-8 in their last 3 years. They did not attend They did not qualify for U.S. Quidditch Cup 9, but the two cups that they did attend, they went 1-8 in those. Great movement. Oh, he turned right back into the tackle. He had him beat at first, and then got a little too fancy with it. Turned back into the tackle, trying to get away from the beaters. Good hustle on this one. Bowling Green may have a goal.
It's low, number 55, and that's a good goal through the medium hoop. Great, strong hammer down.
Have to wonder why he hasn't been out there a lot more here today. That was good hustle on his part. Mammoth opened from the Macaulay Marauders. They went 2-2. That was a Swiss-style tournament, so they've been in this format a couple of times here today. This is our first college matchup at U.S. Quidditch Cup 11 on pitch 1 that you're joining us here. But the Big Apple Quidditch Conference, essentially like the Big 12 or the Big 10 when it comes to Quidditch. Just a couple of other teams. NYU, a team here at Nationals, one of those teams in there. The NYU Pigeons, the secondary team for Nationals out there. And one of the Macaulay Beaters is down. She got rolled over and actually ended up. Yeah, she's going to be down here for a second. She's a little rocked. A.J. Miller flipped her over her own shoulder, and she's breathing fine. She's going to walk this one off. She's in a little bit of pain. You got to like the toughness, though. I have a feeling she'll be back in this game, but A.J. Miller with a nice tackle over there at the beater position, rolled her over her own shoulder, and then put all of her body weight on her shoulder. I think that's why she was crying.
Yeah, good form tackle by Miller. You can tell that he slowed it down, making the hit appropriate for the size of the player he was hitting. And I think it's just an unfortunate roll. That's all it was.
No doubt about it. She seems like she's all right. She knows she has to come out of the game, but she'll be all right. Alvin Arnold having a conversation. And Matt, do you think this deserves a card?
It looked like a good clean hit to me.
They're having a conversation, what looks to be a card. And if this be our first example of big man bias in terms of Quidditch.
Absolutely. It's hard to be a big man, especially on a lot of the hits. If you can't get low enough, or if you hit too hard, especially on a small-bodied player, that is a foul. If you use too much force or you hit illegally, we trust our referees here to enforce the rules as they apply.
They're talking to Miller, and like we mentioned before, the tackle from Matt Dwyer, who is an official and is kind of in charge of a lot of things. He's a regional coordinator. He's in charge of a lot of people. He knows the rules very well. He thought that was a clean hit.
I do my best.
Do my best. Big Apple Quidditch Conference. We're talking about the Macaulay Marauders, what they did. 6-6 their record on in Big Apple Quidditch Conference. Of course, playing against some community and college teams throughout the course of that one. But interesting final game in Big Apple Quidditch Conference. They beat NYU 120-110 in overtime. A huge win.
That is a huge win.
A great strong win versus a high quality team.
Absolutely. NYU has been a powerhouse in the Northeast for several seasons now.
A couple of losses from the Macaulay Marauders. They lost to NYU a few times. As a matter of fact, they lost to them 3 times. The only win that they have against them is the final game of the back, as they like to call it, Big Apple Quidditch Conference. And then they beat Emerson, a quality team here at they lost to Emerson by a snitch pull, basically. 80-70 was the final score in that one. They lost to the Bear Sharks. Very talented team led by some
incredibly talented. Yeah. Some people have Bear Sharks going all the way this year for the community title.
As they went to the Final Four just a year ago, actually one of the biggest not even turnaround, first year of existence, you go to the Final Four of U.S. Quidditch Cup, a branch-off team of QC Boston, one of the most talented teams in the country, dare say the world.
Absolutely. QC Boston, winner of Quidditch Cup 9.
Yes, they are. They played against Rochester United, the team that we just saw a couple of moments ago here, and you see why they've got a ton of talent left over and adding a lot to their adding a lot as well. As we've got a conversation going on here and have no idea what it is about. There is no card. AJ Miller is going to go back to hoops, and there's going to be a score by the Macaulay Marauders here.
And if you look across the field there, it looks like our Snitch is on the pitch, and our Seekers are getting ready to go. Seeking for Bowling Green, that's number 69, Kyle Dawson, and for Macaulay, number 8, Fernandez.
And Fernandez, we saw him score 1 goal here early on in this one, and it's going to be a free run towards the Snitch. The Beaters are not running over there, and it's going to be a Snitch pull game in this one. So a lot of contests here, and we'll see what Fernandez can come up with as the Macaulay Marauders have gone insane on their bench over there. They're cheering on Fernandez on the far side of the pitch. Now on the attack is Vargas, who we saw slip down.
Vargas, big hit, and he still gets the goal while going down.
Good vision on his part, under duress, kept his eye on the ball.
Absolutely.
Metaphorical ball. The ball, of course, in this case being a hoop. But he threw the ball through the hoop.
And Macaulay dominating Bludger superiority early in the Snitch game. And that's Christian Barnes, number 0 in the center of the field. Alvin Arnold defending the quaffle. Passes it back to no one.
And it's going to be, looks like a free run. Oh, a late kick after being beat on that play. I saw a hand go up. Is it going to be called, though, for advantage? It is not. They'll instead let the Macaulay Marauders run with this one all the way up the pitch.
And that's 52 Vitale spinning out of a tackle, missed another tackle. Vargas with the easy goal.
And Vitale doing a good job making that pass. He is also one of the leading scorers for the Macaulay Marauders. We've been seeing him run all over this pitch. Early on, it was the defensive effort, and now in the back half of this game, it's turned into the offense for him.
And that's the ball with Herrick on the near side. Macaulay getting some time with that Snitch over there. Herrick beat in the middle of the field. Macaulay getting the pickup, and that's Vitale again. The Snitch is running. He's running. Kyle Dawson wasn't going to dive for it. Beat miss, though. Snitch is keeping both, and Macaulay is definitely keeping Dawson at bay. Fernandez is getting all day with this Snitch.
Doing a good job as well, making sure that he uses a full layout there. AJ Miller trying to come up with a catch behind his back on a Bludger attempt, but Bludger control line with Macaulay is going to allow them to get as much alone time and make sure that they get this Snitch. As Fernandez got something up his sleeves. Oh, almost came up with it there.
He had a finger on it.
Yeah, he shifted his hips there at the last second to swing around, get some momentum, and now he's asking for a sub. And this is the interesting part. How many teams, especially in the college ranks, are going 2 Seekers deep on their roster? That's usually something, a skill set that's not worked on too much in college, as you've got other positions you got to focus on: chaser, keeper, and importantly beater as well. Seeker, one of those positions that's easily forgotten about.
Absolutely. Looks like the pass across Macaulay's hoops was bad. We missed a goal by Alvin Arnold earlier. He ran very nicely through the Bowling Green defense, and that's a good hard shot by Vargas.
And you can tell
Kyle Dawson coming in at the Snitch, thought he was going to dive for it.
And you can tell that Bowling Green has had a big impact from their beaters up front, as now they don't have too much beater help in the quaffle game, that they are
Vitale getting real close to that snitch. Just had it.
Vitale trying to be the true MVP of this matchup here, ladies and gentlemen. He's been doing it all over the place, offense and defense.
And it looks like a beater stare down between Barnes and Miller, waiting for this snitch. They've got all 4 beaters on the snitch, so the Quaffle game's free to do whatever they like. Big pass over the top by Bowling Green. They're running it in. Ooh.
Bowling Green State's got a couple, looks like a little bit of free time with the snitch here. There's a whistle being blown, and
Stoppage of play. It looked like it could be a potentially illegal tackle, and we'll see what the referee says here. That was Vargas in the back there from Macaulay.
Yeah. Vargas has had an interesting game. We've seen him not only do a great job of hustling down loose quaffles here today, but looked like he almost got hurt a couple of times when he's out there and staying tough, making sure that he stays out there for his team.
Absolutely. He's had an incredible amount of blocks, too. I think I counted at least 3 or 4, which is pretty darn good.
That means he's maybe he's just one of those quick twitch guys. Got that quick twitch muscle fiber. He reacts very quickly. He's also got the height to go along with it. We saw earlier, got the strength to maintain through a tackle. Always important as well. As A.J. Miller looks like he might be about to get, for the first time here today, some alone time with the for the Bowling Green Seeker. Here in a second, we'll see what happens. They're trying to get, there's a bludger loose, and I think some of the spectators, there's a bludger being obscured by the Bowling Green State University bench, and they're asking them to move out of the way so that their beater can see that ball. Because as of right now, bludger control lies with Bowling Green. They have A.J. Miller up front, and then they have number 15 over there around the mid-pitch area with the bludger right at her feet. And that last bludger, all the way over by Bowling Green's bench, is going to be pivotal. It's going to be the difference between possibly ending this game. 90, 60-yard game here currently with Macaulay ahead.
We've got Bowling Green attacking from the backside of the hoops. They've got number 55. It's low. Driving in. He misses the shot. And Alvin Arnold with the rebound. The Snitch moving to the other side of the field.
And a key portion of this game, the Snitch on the move as, a nice sneak behind and a nice sneak up and beat from behind, poked the ball free, and now bludger control is back to Macaulay just like that. Impact that an experienced beater can have on the game, and it looks like there was head-to-head contact. One of the Bowling Green State beaters is down. She's going to go back to hoops, and the ref is trying to call for time. He might be bleeding. That's a rough one.
That's a really annoying call there. Christian Barnes really been controlling the aggressive portion of the beater game for Macaulay. Him having to sub off is definitely going to be difficult, especially in this pivotal snitch on pitch time.
And this is interesting. They're going to send out a female beater in place out here. So we'll see how this affects strategy-wise. We'll see how this winds up. But Alvin Arnold, an experienced Quidditch player at the community and college level with possession of the quaffle. So see what he can make happen. Once again, head-to-head contact between two beaters forces a sub for Macaulay as they elicited for time.
And Arnold takes his time, sets up his offense. He gets wrapped up by Lowe, spins out of it, and he gets beat. Vargas picks up the rebound, and a good hot shot by Vargas.
And that increases the lead out of snitch range, and Macaulay is pulling for the win now.
Meanwhile, Macaulay's seeker, Vitale, he's having all the time in the world. Both beaters protecting Vitale in a loose sense. Now they move one beater back into the quaffle game. Big pass over the top by Lowe. It's back to Herrick.
Lowe's been all over the place. He saw his offensive chaser carry him towards where the quaffle was and took that as an opportunity to get a tackle on Alvin Arnold, forced that ball loose, but still gave up the goal just from some good hustle from Farron. But we see Vitale over there on the far side playing a little seeker and doing a pretty good job. The only oh, wow, that looked like it was that's going to be called an over-the-shoulder tackle. For some reason, Lowe went in with his inside arm instead of trying to square him up because he couldn't get around. Farron with some good speed on him, so that's probably what forced that back possession.
Absolutely. Farron, incredible speed there off the jump. Got right around Lowe. There's no reason to make that foul. You get a goal either way out of that.
And then it didn't stop it, so.
I think we're reaching the point of the game where the depth of each team is starting to show. It looks like both teams are doing pretty well. Macaulay is definitely picking up these later athletic goals in the Snitch game. Certainly holding Bludger control almost this entire time has had something to do with that.
And like you mentioned, the effect that beaters can have, especially on the Snitch on pitch situation, we've seen Bowling Green go from playing some pretty stout defense to seeing Macaulay almost getting free run at the hoops on a really consistent basis. We'll see, and it's really difficult to be that beater when your team is at so many people, like they say all the time when they talk about people trying to, they talk about rescuing people. I guess there's so many people who are asking, pick me, but you can only help as many as you can. And when you're a beater and you're split between literally two battlefields, trying to defend the seeker and then trying to get out there and help on quaffle play, because if you know what your team's skill set is and you know they don't do well in those man-to-man situations, a team will eat you alive when it comes to Snitch on pitch play.
Absolutely, and it looks like Macaulay has seemed to have found the weakness of Bowling Green, getting in those quick jumps. As soon as they get the beater out of the play towards the Snitch, they're able to pick up a lot of goals here. You got number 37 streaking down the field for Bowling Green. Meanwhile, Vitaly's got a lot of time with the Snitch.
Nice
he
pass.
passes off to 10. She gets hit pretty good, and that's Farron, and he recovers the quaffle. And they've got Chanovec. Bowling Green has Chanovec in to defend at seeker.
Somebody's got.
Looks like
I was
going to
say, is our guy Vitaly going to get a sub here, man? It seems like he's a little tired out there. He's been out there for quite some time. He's finding his way to the Snitch a little bit there, but yeah, he's finally going to sub out of this game. Good move on his part. He's going to have to sub out a little bit lower if he wants to.
Yeah,
well,
I don't think Vitaly realized that
our
was
job
an
is
illegal
not to
substitution.
officiate the game.
It is not. And Fernandez is going back in, trying to get a tall, lanky boy in there, see if they can pull this Snitch. And he's going to have a good, clean look as the beaters are absolutely locking it down for Fernandez.
Oh, nice. He got it. Nice move from Fernandez. Not only did he dive with his entire body, he used his inside arm to clear the arms of the Snitch and then used the outside hand to reach around and grab. That was a good move.
That's an incredibly athletic play by Fernandez.
If he was about 2 inches taller and weighed about 70 more pounds, he could play defensive end for a college football team. That was good. That was a really good swing of Macaulay, the Marauders.
That was an incredibly well-done Snitch on pitch play. Macaulay dominating the beater game and coming away with the Snitch catch and the victory.
And Fernandez going out there for his second stint of the game, and that's what really changed it up for him. He got a chance to rest. He got a chance to analyze what the skill set and the style of the Snitch was, and still came up with a second opportunity, a second look at the Snitch after being rested. Snitch worn down a little bit, of course, running all over the pitch, but still came up with a really good grab. Macaulay, the Marauders, doing a great job against Bowling Green State University. They controlled this game, vast majority of it. There were some moments where Bowling Green State looked like they could have gotten back into it, but at the end of the day, Macaulay, with the athleticism up front, the beater game behind them, doing a really good job, and like you said, the experience weighing in heavily there. It was real difficult for Bowling Green to fight on two different fronts, the quaffle play and the Snitch game.
Absolutely. Bowling Green kept in it for a long time, but they didn't quite get it together for that Snitch on pitch play, and that made all the difference, as we see for most college teams.
And as our windy day here at day one of U.S. Quidditch Cup 11 is underway, the Macaulay Marauders will head off to their rest area, celebrating another win here today. We will take a break until our next game gets underway. Matt Dwyer, thank you for joining us here and giving us your excellent perspective on the game, man.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
And enjoy the great weather.
Thank you. Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely out here.
And I think that's all we got here. The Macaulay Marauders beating Bowling Green State University in our fourth game here on pitch one for U.S. Quidditch Cup 11. Kansas on the block here. They will be up against Ohio University, if I'm correct. The other Matt Dwyer told us that they're playing they're playing Ohio. So we're done here. Kansas versus Ohio University up next right here on U.S. Quidditch Cup 11 coverage.